Hey guys, I'm Helena. So this is kind of weird for me because you know me, I film things through, and I just filmed a 45-minute video about this issue, but I'm not sure if I can bring myself to upload this as it is, because it's a very much rambling and ranting, so I'm trying to get this on point here more. So I'm gonna start differently now. Last week I wanted to make a video and I thought very long and hard about if I wanted to make this video last Wednesday, because I was in Italy and I was at a soldiers' cemetery, a German soldiers' cemetery. I wouldn't even know where something like this is in Germany, but I know where something like this is in Italy. And I thought about if I was gonna take you with me and look at the deaths and talk about what death is in Wagner, how it's glorified and nullified at the same time in our society. And I decided against it because I thought I don't want to wreck this place for views. I mean, I don't make money off these videos, obviously, but the funny thing is always when I upload something, I get less ads for some reason. So I don't know, they probably make the like 50 cent I make every video, they pour into my ad account so that I see a few ads less. I don't know. But I didn't want to do this because I thought, no, you should do this yourself. I should not take you with me. I'm not gonna do this at this place. And also I didn't want to cry on the internet. And I would for sure have cried. You would cry too, regardless of where you come from or which political side you're on. You would cry if you see a boy's name dying on his 16th birthday after the war has ended. And with after the war has ended, I mean Hitler's dead. This boy is 16 and gets killed. You would cry. And if you wouldn't, I'm sorry for you. And there we come to the reason why I make this video today. And why I make this video today is last Wednesday, 4 hours later, literally just 4 hours later, when I got the push message that Charlie Kirk was shot. So let's be very clear. I don't have the same opinions as Charlie Kirk. There are a few that I'm like, okay, good, we can talk about this. And there are a few that I'm like, no, we cannot talk about this. Well, should be able to talk about everything, but you get what I mean. There's some things like this whole gun thing that I, as a German, or we as Europeans, I think this is unanimously that we would say, yeah, we're not part of this. Guns are not good. Or like the death penalty, just to say that I don't necessarily stand on the same side as Charlie Kirk politically. And I thought it was horrible in the first place because this guy was speaking his mind and he was talking to the other side, which is very, very rare. I don't see this in Germany happening, first of all. I don't see, like, the first women of the AfD and the leftists going for a drink in the evening. I don't see that. And just talking about their political stance. I don't see that. There is, specifically, interestingly, there's one podcast of one of the big leftists and like one of the Conservative Party. And by leftists, I mean the leftist party. So this is not like a degrading thing as it is in America, but this is actually the leftist party. And the other is the Conservative Party. So they have a podcast together, which I don't think so many people know about this, but this is the only thing, really, and they don't talk to people around their circle. So this was pretty horrible for me to see, that someone could be killed because of their opinion, because they talk to the other side. Come on, people, what is this? Because of their political stances, which, by the way, apparently after the recent election, half of the country share. Just saying. But what really got to me was what we found out afterwards, and also what the reactions were. And I thought we had lost our humanity at this point. I saw a video of someone, I saw 2 videos. I don't know what the other song was, unfortunately. With 2 songs from Wicked. And they were like celebrating his death with the song No One Wants the Wicked. It was like, what? Are you insane? We should not even begin this stuff. Where is this coming from? Why is this okay? Why is there a society where this is okay? And this made me thinking. And obviously we're gonna go to Wagner. And I thought, well, in our society, death is either glorified or nullified. Let's be very real about this. So obviously we have the glorification right now of people calling Charlie Kirk a martyr, which he now became due to his death. Also, leave the children and the wife alone. Just don't do it. And if someone's watching here and who's a subscriber of mine who says like, yeah, Charlie Kirk's, no, please unsubscribe, please leave. I do not wish. I'd rather have no people watching these videos than an audience of people who think this is okay, who celebrate this. Thank you. But again, his death is being glorified. So we have this a lot. We have this a lot with Wagner, obviously. Death is glorified, death is a relief. Death is a relief of life, we're going to go through it. Dutchman, death is a relief. The burden of life is behind him. He always just wanted to die. And Senta gives him that opportunity by dying herself. Truly has no merit for herself. Tannhäuser, same thing. Death is a relief of the burdens of his life. And it means that he has no sins anymore. And the sin of being with Venus for 7 years is gone. And when he dies, Elisabeth dies as well. Elsa, I think she just sinks to the floor soullessly, as does Ortrud. Or I think Elsa's just lost her mind. Then of course we have the epitome of this glorifying death thing, which is Tristan and Isolde. Burden of life is gone. They're free. They can live their love as far as you can live your love in death. And we have, of course, in the last one, Kundry, who dies and whose death is a salvation. Is also freed of repeating the life circles over and over and over. She's just dead. So we have glorified death here. Death is something great. You're out of this life. Woohoo! We also, and this is something I think is much more realistic, we have the Ring of the Nibelung. Obviously, which is quite absurd. Because we actually see the afterworld. We are at Valhall. This is the afterworld for heroes who died in battle. Without thinking, oh, if I do this, I'm gonna be a hero, so I'm gonna do this. No. They died as a hero without thinking of their reward. We are there, but we hardly have a glorifying death. A great death. Something that gets you to Valhalla. Fafnir doesn't go to Valhalla, because there are no Valkyries to choose him. Sigmund, who's a hero, his Valkyrie goes off with his sister. So he goes either to Hela or to Ginnungagap, which is the kind of fog in between the worlds. Then we have Siegfried, the greatest German hero. Doesn't die as a hero. Gets a spear between his shoulder blades. It's ugly. And it's horrible. Yes, he gets pretty music afterwards. Whoa. As is everything else. Beautiful. Wonderful. Great. But does he go to Valhalla? No. Because all Valkyries are already in Valhalla and they don't leave Valhalla anymore. But Traute did, but she didn't go to choose Siegfried. And Brunhild is not a Valkyrie anymore. So there's just nothing. Even worse, in Valhalla they die twice. At least, if you've read Magnus Chase, you know you die a lot in Valhalla. So there's just nothing afterwards. And I think this is probably, in my opinion, of course. I'm sorry, I think I'm getting a bit ill. Obviously, what is the question here? There was something obvious, but I didn't see it, or I forgot it about my sneeze. So the sneezed it out. But well, I think this is probably one of the truest depictions of death as we know it, because no one's gonna come back. No one's gonna dig themselves out of their grave and say, oh yeah, this is what death is like. No, we don't know. We can believe, can have faith, but we don't know. For all we know, Dutchman could have just sank and then drowned. Tannhäuser could have just dropped dead, as Kundry. Tristan could have just died from his wounds, and Isolde of a broken heart, and this was it. They didn't meet in the big beyond. This could be it. And I think, you know me, I'm not a Christian, I'm pagan. But I think that this picture that there is a bigger plan of yourself, and that there's a reason why you die, and saying, oh yeah, God wanted Charlie Kirk at his side, so he took him to heaven and stuff, that this can help you, but we don't know. And to have someone who thinks, I'm gonna make this decision, I'm gonna shoot this guy, I'm gonna take this life, is horrible, and even more horrible that there are people celebrating this. And there's hypocrisy, a lot of hypocrisy on both political sides, I think. So we're going to call this out right here. Hypocrisy of the left. And for me, this is the left. I know for you it's the right, but still. Hypocrisy of the left is you're celebrating gun violence. Aren't you against that? Like what? Hypocrisy of the right is we would never celebrate someone's death of the political opponent's side. I believe you in terms of, I hope that you're right. I believe you in terms of probably America. But I don't believe you in terms of the whole world. Because I'm gonna call myself out here. I'm certainly, I probably wouldn't make a party, or I wouldn't make this horrible "no one wants the wicked" video. Come on, people. Where's your humanity? So father of two, husband, a son, grandson. He's that young. Come on. It's nothing to celebrate. But there probably would be a few people, if they died, the world would be relieved. And I'm sure that these hypocritical rightists, that they also would be. Let's just say we have a few wars going on. Would be probably easier to end them if there were certain people not around. This doesn't mean that I'm gonna go there and do something, no. I hope that these persons, personally, I hope that these persons get captured and then they get in front of a jury and they get what they deserve in terms of being locked away in a prison with, I don't know, at least 1,000 locks that they don't get out on any term. But I wouldn't be shedding tears if these people were like dead. Let's just say that. Okay? This is the hypocrisy of the right, obviously. But if we begin with this, if we begin celebrating political assassination, it's gonna go both ways. And we've had this already. We've had this lady from Minnesota get assassinated. Now we have Charlie Kirk. We've had Josh Shapiro's house get burned down. We've had Donald Trump get shot at. Can we not stop that? If you have something to say, then say it. Get into a political party. Talk to them. Or, I don't know, prosecute them if they're so horrible. But if we're beginning to celebrate assassinations or not talk about them at all, then we're gonna end like Russia, where they're just people tripping out of the window. And I don't think anyone wants to go there. I don't think so. And this young man, I mean, he's our best reason to go out, touch grass, talk to people, not be on our computer, not be on our cell phones all the time. Because, I mean, look at what we do. This person obviously played this video game. I don't know anything about this. But as far as I've read, as far as I've seen in videos of people talking about this, and they were of both political sides, let's be very real. I've seen both. I've seen people saying, oh, this was a far-right person. I've seen people who say this was a far-left person. So I got both sides here. But as far as I've seen with this video game where there's like bombs killing people, they're just figures on your screen. They're revived. They don't have a history. They're not flesh and blood. They're just a mouse click. And I think we should stop that. Just saying. Not do this 24 hours a day. Like, no. Thank you very much. And it's not stopping there, because we tend to say, oh yeah, this is video culture, video games culture. And yeah, these young people, they do this. You do it too. If you're here sitting and you're like 50 plus, whatever, you're doing it too. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because there's this woman named Agatha Christie. And there's a lot of other crimi authors, basically, who write books in which the death of a person is good or justified because this person is bad. And everyone's happy in the end. I'm gonna make an example. My favorite, I'm not spoil this. My favorite Agatha Christie is Evil Under the Sun. I love this. I love the movie, especially. Maggie Smith, come on. Just this cast. But what do we have here? We have someone dying or dead who was awful. Was awful to everyone. Was a horrible, horrible person. They died, and everyone's happy in the end. Everyone has a better life now that she's not there anymore. What does this tell us? If we take out one person of the mix, everything's good? What? So we don't only have this in video games culture, because we know about this in video games culture, but we don't know about this in such profane things as this. Or we have, I don't know, Barnaby, Lewis, whatever, where there's like, oh yeah, these two people, they couldn't get married before this and this person was dead, and now that they're dead, everything's better because they can marry. What? And I'm calling myself out again, because I love this stuff. And I'm currently watching Father Brown with my mom. So we have a lot of that, saying, oh yeah, this person would deserve to die. Hello? What has our language become that we even say that? And this is the media. Let's be very clear about this. We have it with Wagner that death is glorified, and that there are people who deserve it and they're gonna die, even though this is not at all in the original saga. Hagen gets drowned in the end by the Rhine maidens, where everyone's like, okay, this thing's, oh, there, well, Hagen, he deserved it. But we cannot start thinking like that. We should never start thinking like that. Or at least there should be a clear distinction between the real world and what we see on TV, what we read, what we play. And I think this is a massive problem in our society. Massive. Because we cannot see into the future. We cannot. In a movie, we're through. It's 45 minutes, it's 1.5 hours, and then we're through. And then we see, oh yeah, everyone's better. But it's not unanimously in real life, and you can't see it after 45 minutes, and you can't know what would have happened. You cannot see it. We cannot see if Charlie Kirk, I don't know, would have become president and literally would have become Hitler, I don't know, and got all the political opponents to Alcatraz, I don't know. We wouldn't know. We will never know. But someone going out there and saying, oh yeah, he's a fascist, he would do horrible things, so I'm going to take him out now. No. And the people who are celebrating it, that this is socially acceptable, that he's getting celebrated for this heinous, heinous, heinous crime. Same for what's his name? Luigi Mangione? This young woman who said, oh yeah, my boyfriend is an AI character of him. What? What are you doing? What are you saying? Do you listen to yourself speak? Do you not think that if you say something, hypothetically, this person gets out, you come together with him. First of all, he's not the same as your AI. He may look the same, but he's not the same. Second of all, he's already killed. someone who doesn't align with his beliefs? Do you really think you can have an argument with him without ever having in the back of your mind, oh, he killed someone who didn't have the same beliefs. I don't have the same beliefs. Maybe I should get out of here. What? This is a huge barrier for a person to kill someone else. Unless you're obviously in video games, then it's apparently not such a great thing. This is a huge barrier, but if you've done it once, you will do it again. And normal people who have any grip on reality, they don't celebrate this. I don't see soldiers coming back from Afghanistan boasting about how many kills they've made, unlike Prince Harry, but Prince Harry is a different matter. Normal soldiers who have a grip on reality, they don't boast about this because they know what death is. Death is all the names that I saw on this graveyard. All the graves where it was like 1 German soldier, 2 German soldiers, 3 German soldiers, just the name Franz and a death date. A boy dying on his 16th birthday, that's what death is like. You're taking someone's life. This is not your responsibility. If you're so threatened by this person, then you can find a way to take him out legally. Hate speech is a thing. Just say he's doing hate speech, whatever. But we should never have to resort to that. And I kind of feel sorry for this person because they thought the world's so unfair that this was something, that this was the only way out. But on the other hand, live in the real world. There are things yet you can do legally. For example, Donald Trump could have arrested Vladimir Putin as soon as he... By the way, this was just my hand clapping, and not that you. He could have arrested Vladimir Putin as soon as he stepped foot on, what was it, Alaska? He was in America. He could have arrested him. He should have arrested him. It was his duty to arrest him because there's a warrant for Putin. He should have arrested him. This is what you should do. But you can't do against these people. But you shouldn't just go out and take your grandfather's gun, apparently, get on can't even say it. This is not a way out. And this young man is going to lose his life. I'm against the death penalty. First of all, because he's going to be a martyr as well, just from a different perspective. Someone's going to call him a martyr. We know that. It's totally clear. I don't know. I think the world's mad. I think we should show this young man what he's done and make this clear to him by just having him live in the real world. Also, considering the stories that people hear from the jails in America, I suppose he wouldn't live unscathed that long. I hope this is the right word. Because, as we know, from pedophiles in prison, they don't live long and prosper. They may live long, but they don't live prosper. Just saying. Make this young guy clear what he destroyed. Make this clear to him. What he destroyed. And what he couldn't destroy. And I deeply hope in my body that because of this stupidity, this utmost stupidity, we don't stop talking to each other. Because if we do this, what some writers now say, it's like, yeah, we have to stop talking and this is now civil war. What? Stop this. This is not what Charlie would have wanted. If he wanted that, he would have had a different profession and he would have done stuff differently than going to college campuses and talking to other people. This was the basic thing. Don't stop talking. As I said, I'm not on terms with him on many things. I'm on terms with him with a few things. But this is what I'm totally on terms with. This is don't stop talking with each other. And we're in this mess now that people say, why should we even talk to the other side? This is not going to get us anywhere. And it's a horrible perspective. Isn't this? Is it only me who thinks that? We glorify death, we nullify death. We take a life as if it's nothing. By we, I mean a society, not we as in me or something. I don't know. I had so many fun things planned. Like I went to Freakier Friday a few weeks ago. Wanted to talk about this. And then this came and I was like, no. Have to talk about death. Because apparently we're completely losing. I am too. Let's be very, very clear about this. Don't depict me on a moral high ground because I'm not there. This is totally not a thing. Just like 2 days ago, my mom and I were watching an episode of Father Brown. It's Pater Brown in Germany, I'm sorry. Of Father Brown, and there was this director for a horrible vampire movie, and he was being awful to everyone. And my mom and I, we were kind of looking at each other and we said, yeah, that's him. He would deserve it. And then a few minutes later, I thought, like, what did I just say? We should all start with that. Like, not stop thinking like that. Because I don't think, A, you can stop that, and B, you shouldn't stop it. Because freedom of thoughts is a thing. But you should see how this is wrong. Even if it's just TV, even if it's just a book. Even if it's a video game. And I don't know if this has even been translated to English. There's a fabulous German book which is called Erebus, which is the kind of, I don't even know if this is the right word, again, kind of the culmination of the real world with the video game world. It's called Erebus. It's a great book. And there are these people who kind of get sucked into this world. But this has consequences for the real world. It's a horrifying and fascinating thriller. I don't normally like thrillers, but I like Ursula Poznański's thrillers. Too many S's and too many THs. Anyway, this is just what I wanted to say. I wanted to talk about this death. And I mean, there are ways to prosecute people. And we should do that. There should be no one. We have got this one guy in the far-right extremist party in Germany who says, I'm the friendly face of National Socialism. Get this guy in front of a judge now. This is not something you should say ever. And I don't care about freedom of speech in this case, because we've been there. And we will never do it again. We should never do it again. And I know this is kind of absurd, considering that anti-Semitism is on the rise again in Germany, in the world. but never again. This is for everyone. Don't let assassination start. This stuff is insane. This is just what I say. What I hope that everyone takes away from this video, which is very, very abnormal because it's not fun. And it's not... Yeah, well, we love in Meistersinger. We love when there's a boy beating up an older man. It's all fun and games as long as we know what we're doing there. We can laugh at this, but we should see that this should not be a thing in the real world. Or getting a spear between the shoulder blades of someone, or all this stuff. Drowning or whatever. I hope we can all say this, never again. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.